the masochist idol and the sadist bodyguard. The boy I bullied became my bodyguard. Saiwoo, who is awakened to a strange craving, punches his classmate Jiho by chance one day, and that night he dreams of being utterly subjugated by him. Believing Jiho shares the same tendencies and that they dream together because they like each other, Saiwoo keeps bullying him. But Jiho transfers away. 3 years later, Saiwoo, now debuted as an idol, reunites with Jiho, who has become his bodyguard. The Halloween noise of Itaewon is shut out. Inside the basement studio, lit only by red light, a silence has settled. This is a professional role-play space for projecting consensual desire. A sealed refuge where urges that go unacknowledged in reality can be released safely, and old wounds reshaped in their own way. In this room, designed as precisely as a movie set, the two men will watch the footage they filmed together and then let it evaporate, indulging in a safe voyeurism only they can understand. On the large LED screen covering the wall, a high school playground is being projected. The afternoon sun through drifting yellow dust and the blurred silhouette of a basketball hoop fill the entire wall. From the speakers, the steady bounce of a basketball flows out low, mixed with a strange noise. The two men wear not a single thread. One man presses the record button on the camera. At his feet, the other man, the idol, lies prostrate, his pale shoulders trembling. Slim yet exercise-honed muscle stands out vividly under the red light. Begin. A dry command drops. That dream the two of us shared from back then. We're recreating it here today. Say into the lens, without leaving out a single thing, exactly where your fixation began. Start from that night in high school, the night my glasses got broken. The prostrate man slowly raises his head. The playground on the screen is reflected in his eyes. He is already back inside the dream of that time. The man opens his mouth and lets out his first sentence. It is the beginning of the role play that records their shared dream as reality. My awakening to my own strange craving happened purely by accident. That day I just wanted to play some basketball with my buddies. So it wasn't my fault that the ball I threw happened to break the glasses of that guy walking past, or so I wanted to believe. That's why I didn't apologize right away. Back then I was just a punk kid, and you could say a dog-like pride is what caused this whole mess. Ha! Damn it! The moment I saw the furious eyes of the kid who cursed, his glasses broken, a little blood trickling from his lightly scratched temple, I was a bit thrown. Because his prescription was so strong, I hadn't known. With the glasses off, I was seeing his bare face for the first time. Sharp features, coldly handsome. Usually he was a quiet guy, but now the cursing suited him. A bad boy kind of face. I'm no slouch in the looks department myself, but if I'm honest, mine is more the meet the parents approve type. In that instant, I didn't want to lose the pecking order fight. So I just picked up the ball that had rolled back from his feet and turned back to the court. It was also because the way he glared at me stirred a strange feeling I didn't like. He was clearly one of the plain kids who ranked below me in class. Yet the moment I saw his contemptuous eyes, a thrill ran down my spine, and it felt unfamiliar. I realized only later, it was the sign of a strange arousal. My basketball mates, friends only in the loosest sense, mocked me. Whoa! Kim Saiwoo. No conscience at all. But my friends, who'd had a delinquent streak since middle school, sneered at the one who'd been hit. Damn, Kim Saiwoo's hardcore. Anyway, it was awkward to just quit basketball. Among high school boys, it was the kind of thing that gets brushed off. The guy, knowing that, just sighed with his broken glasses in hand and left. And so that night, I had that dream for the first time. It was a dream of being thoroughly trampled and subjugated by him. I woke inside the dream, startled by the slap that struck my face. You're up. Before my eyes was him, straddling my body. My body was tied with something, a tug-of-war rope. My arms were bound behind me and raised. My legs bound with ankle folded over thigh so I couldn't straighten either knee. He was pinning me down from above, a basketball tucked under one arm, chin resting on the other hand. I hated his eyes looking down at me without a word, and yet at the same time I felt a strange tremor I'd never felt before. What the hell? What are you doing, Lee Jiho? At the time I didn't immediately realize it was a dream, because it was so vivid. So I was shocked, incredibly flustered. Something felt off. The place where the binding rope tightened burned hot. Shut up. It was the first time Lee Jiho's low voice sounded so overbearing. He never spoke in that tone. Hearing his words, I felt my pulse pounding. Something was going wrong. Why am I feeling this odd arousal in such a humiliating situation? My instinct was honest, but my reason was not. This ominous Lee Jiho might do something terrible to me, I thought. What the hell? Untie this. Before I could finish, Lee Jiho hurled the basketball hard at my face. Whack! With a loud sound, my cheek stung. At that distance he could have thrown it far harder, but the speed of the ball matched how hard I'd hit him. When I couldn't turn my shock-jolted head back toward him, he said, "Does it hurt? You crazy bastard. You call that a question? Does it only hurt? What? You're trembling. Cut the crap and untie this." I struggled with the rope, acting rough and unaffected. But the truth was, Lee Jiho was right. Along with the pain, the tension in my body was spreading into a strange tremor. What is this? Why is my body like this? So he asked again, and I denied it. Obviously not. His eyes, looking down on me, were right in front of me. I avoided them. Then he let go of my rope and said, "Sure then, my upper body should have hit the floor but didn't." I felt like I was falling into empty air, and I woke with my skin crawling. It was morning, a weekday. I had to go to school. I lifted my blanket, soaked through with cold sweat. A gloom set in. Had I come down with some serious illness? My parents, noticing my state, asked what was wrong, but I couldn't say, so they set me up with a counselor. After the sessions, I came to learn that there's such a thing as a peculiar craving felt through being tormented. Felt like discovering a whole new world I could never go back to before. My family was well off. My teenage angst dragged on and my temper was foul. My friends had had a delinquent streak since middle school. From that day, I followed them and started acting like a delinquent too. Because whenever Lee Jiho glared at me with that face holding back his anger, that night I could dream of being overwhelmed. Since I was like this, I assumed he was the same as me. If I tormented him in reality, I could be tormented in the dream. Of course I resisted in the dream, but that was only provocation because I wanted to be done to more. The pleasure was greater. I thought he, tormented in reality, must enjoy tormenting me in the dream. I even deluded myself that he liked me and was just enduring it. The idea that dreams could realistically be linked was absurd nonsense. But being a student, I was caught up in the delusion that I was special. It never occurred to me that I liked him, that I simply wanted to torment him, and that I kept having those dreams reflexively. I felt no guilt. At first it started lightly, poking with a mechanical pencil, throwing erasers, tripping him on purpose. Then I would dream in the very place I had tormented him, getting paid back exactly the way I had done it. The problem was that the more severely I tormented him, the stronger the intensity of the play and the longer I could dream. So the cruelty gradually escalated. I messed with him every single day without fail, because then I could meet him in the dream every day. Because I liked it, I messed with him more. Later, I didn't hesitate at direct beatings and insults, trapping him under a desk and kicking him in front of the whole class, calling him out to a corner of the school for a group beating, shaking him down and gut-punching him in an alley on the way home, and so on. I was addicted to a pleasure stronger than anything I'd felt anywhere, unable to control my reason. Then, about 6 months later, it blew up. Lee Jiho fought back for the first time and struck my friend, and that bastard got enraged and broke Jiho's nose. A school violence committee was convened. I escaped discipline. I don't know how, but I figured that, as always, enough money had probably solved the problem. So my act of school violence wasn't even left on my school record. My parents hired several lawyers, but Lee Jiho's parents didn't even come to the school. I sneaked into the study and secretly read the records my parents had investigated. It said he lived with his grandfather without parents, and there was a strange rumor that the grandfather was a fairly renowned shaman. Afraid of getting caught, I couldn't read further, and soon Lee Jiho transferred schools. But the dreams continued. The day after he transferred was the day I had my most horrific nightmare. My whole body was restrained, tied to the bed.
Lee hijo, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean it like that. My friend did it by mistake. Honestly, the reason I couldn't speak up was because of my parents. They said if I got disciplined, they'd throw me out of the house. I'm really sorry. The apology I couldn't make in reality, because my parents had silenced me, poured out freely in the dream. I only did it because I liked you. Because I liked you and wanted your attention. I like it when you hit me. I have an unusual taste. I felt regret, because I hated the thought of never seeing him again like this. It was because of my own selfish greed. As if knowing that, Lee Jiho said nothing and only looked at me without emotion. Whack! He kicked me in the stomach and my breath caught. I couldn't breathe. In that moment, his expression filled with a rage I'd never seen. He climbed onto my body and strangled my neck. Feels good. NGH. Yeah. So it was a reward, not revenge, damn it. Just die. The sensation of being strangled was a first. I truly felt like I would die, unable to breathe. My vision went white and my ears rang. So I'm not certain. But I think he said this. Because of you, my life is ruined. I wish you were dead, Kim Saiwoo. I hate you. Enough to want to kill you.